Hey, this is MJ, and in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy messy bun beanie. So we're going to have this hole at the top. Now you could always completely close this beanie in if you wanted to and add a pom-pom to the top, but we're going to make it so that you can have a ponytail or a messy bun in the top. And we're just finishing it with this simple band around the base. This design is one of my older patterns and it was made in a discontinued yarn, so I've decided on giving it an update in the beautiful Alla Prima yarn from WeCrochet. This is a beautiful 100% merino wool. It's nice and soft and cozy. Now you will need a little bit more than one hank to complete your adult size hat. If you're making a child, you can make it all in one hank. So there's 120 grams on one hank, and I used about 133 to complete the hat. Now, in this case, I had some left over from, I did another pattern just recently of a headband, and I have some left over. So I have just enough to finish off a hat with my scraps and a hank. Another option I just wanted to show you, another affordable option would be Tough Puff. This yarn is 100% wool, so it's not a merino, it's not quite as soft, but you could combine this with the Alla Prima and maybe just finish off your band with that to make enough yarn. So you will need to roll your hank into a cake, and I will link a video for that if you're not sure how to do that. And that will get your nice center pull here. I'm just gonna wrap Okay, so we'll have the nice center pull from our cake. You will need a 9mm crochet hook for this pattern. I'm using my Furls crochet hook, and this is a Supernova. So I'm going to begin with a slip knot. This hat will be worked from the side across. And I'll begin with a chain of 13. Now I'll be working in the second chain from the hook, but I'm going to turn and work into that back bump, and I'll be working a half double crochet. So yarn over, go through the back bump of the chain, pulling up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 3. We're going to continue working half double crochets in the back bump of every chain across. Okay, so you're going to end up with a total of 12 stitches. Okay, so I'm coming up to my last chain. Now we'll chain 1 and turn. Here is the loops of our stitch, and we're going to be working half double crochets into the back loop only. So here's our front loop, here's our back loop, yarn over, and work a half double crochet. And we're going to work this pattern through the back loops only. So half double crochets through the back loop only. And our stitch count is staying at 12 stitches. So you may just want to count as you go to make sure you stay on track. We'll chain 1 and turn. And for the remaining rows, we're just going to repeat row 2. So work a half double crochet in the back loop of every stitch across. Now you can make this as long as you need to fit around your head. I will be working a total of 20 rows. Okay, so I've worked up a total of 20 rows. Now it's measuring about 16 inches by 6.5. Now remember, this is going to stretch significantly when it goes on your head. So we have lots of stretch. This is going to fit my 22-inch head size. So we're now going to fold it. I've chained one. I ended on the right side, so we're going to have right sides facing. We're just going to slip stitch this now together. I'm going to go through the back loop and through the first stitch. Okay, and we're just going to work that all the way down, going through each stitch. And after you have this slip stitch together, you can easily try it on just to make sure, again, that it is going to fit. Now I have a little bit left to do the next steps. If you have run out of yarn, you may want to drop a hook size, because you should have enough yarn if you're making this size to finish the next couple steps. Okay, I've worked through the last stitch. I'm going to chain one just to get this all secured, and then I'm going to flip the hat so that the seam is to the inside. Okay. And you're hardly going to notice where the seam is. Now what we're going to do, this is the top of the hat now. We're going to work, you have your ridge here. I'm going to go through and single crochet. And in each of those sort of puffed up ridges, I will be single crocheting. So that's every other row, so that's 10 single crochet around. Okay, so you're going to work that around. Okay, so I'm coming around to my 10th stitch right here. We're going to do one more right before our join. So we have 11 in total, and I'm going to slip stitch in the first to join and just fasten this off. Okay, so this is the top of the hat. Now again, if you wanted to close that up, you could leave a bit longer tail, weave through every other stitch or the front loops of each stitch and just pull the hat closed. But we're gonna leave a nice opening here for our ponytail or our bun. Okay, so we're just gonna weave this tail in using a yarn needle for super bulky yarn. So I'm going to weave that to the inside of the hat. And I'm going to leave that for now and finish that off later. So now I'm going to join, I'm going to find my seam. I want to join on down here at the seam. A little bit of yarn left. It's important before you change color, it looks much nicer if you can go with the same color to finish this section. Now, if you're doing it all in the one color and you have the extra ball, then you're okay. But if you're making the same size, it's a good idea for your sizing to be on track with mine. So we're going to join in here. We're going to chain one. We're going to work a single crochet into that first stitch. So what we're doing now is we're going to evenly work around single crochets, and we want 3 single crochet per 2 rows. So here's a row, here's a row. So across this section, you want 3 stitches. This row, across this section, you want 3 more stitches. So you're going to work around so that you have a total of 30. So there I have 3, and I like to make my stitches so that I'm not pulling big gaps. Because we're working with this super bulky yarn, it's really easy to get a big gap. So instead of going down farther, I'm just going through maybe this loop here. So there's 1, 2, and then 3. And then I look at my next 2 rows and do the same thing. So 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to continue around. So now I've needed to join on some yarn, so I use the Russian join because it works well with roving. Now the next few stitches will be big to get through that thicker section, but I prefer that over a knot with the roving. So we have some thick stitches here. And we'll slip stitch to join. And chain 1. And now for this round, you could change over, of course, to a different color. You could use a solid to match up with it. This is the Tough Puff. Or I'm just using, I had some scraps left over from some headbands that I worked on, and this is a great way to use up that scrap without needing to purchase a full other ball. If you do, you could make a few hats out of your extra ball. And I'm going to work in the back loops around. Now, if you're looking for substitutes, this is a really heavy, super bulky weight number 6. As you can see, it's really, really plush and heavy. I would go with 3 strands of worsted to get a similar thickness if you want the same rows and stitch count. Now, this pattern, you could easily make some more rows and some more stitches to equal out that measurement if you're trying to substitute yarns to get the sizing right. So I'm going to continue around in the back loop. Now to finish the hat off, I like to use the seamless join method. So I'm going to fasten off, pull my yarn through with my tail. I'm going to go through both loops of the first stitch and then through the back loop only of the last stitch, just so we have a nice seamless finish. And then you can weave in your tail through the wrong side of your work. Okay, and finally I'm just going to add a personalized tag to my hat. I'm going to make sure I have my seam to the back. You can get tags that you can sew on as well. I have a kit here with these leather rivets, and you're going to need a hammer to hammer them. Everything you need but the hammer is in the kit. Okay, so we're going to snap that, and then you're just going to take the tools provided. If you want to hammer it to the inside, you can do that. You can just place this, and you also have this tool that you can put here, and then you're just going to hammer that to secure it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell to stay updated on all my new videos and tutorials. Make sure to check the description box for the links for the materials that I used in this tutorial. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.